Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Everything Medicare Podcast, and happy Saturday. Hope this podcast finds you having a fantastic weekend. This is an episode of the Everything Medicare Podcast where every week I bring you two podcasts about your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Social Security, and everything that has to do with the golden age of retirement. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christian Brindle. I'm a Medicare expert in Utah, where I was raised around the Medicare industry with my father working in it since the late 80s, early 90s. And personally, I've been doing this for many years myself. I'm an author of 2 books about Medicare plans, and I have a third one coming out in the next year or so. That's kind of a guidebook to insurance in general. And I own a company called Christian Brindle Insurance Services, where we work with people of all different situations on their Medicare plans. We're a brokerage, an independent brokerage, meaning we work with every single insurance company in the industry, or all the big name ones, I should say, and the states that we are licensed to work in. So, folks, today I wanted to talk about OEP with it wrapping up. It will be over next Monday. For those of you who have listened to me for some time, OEP is something that they did years ago. OEP stands for, what does it stand for? The Open Election Period, OEP stands for the Open Election Period, which basically means if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, it allows you to change that Medicare Advantage plan one time from January through the end of March. And they have not had OEP around for many years. They did it years ago, and they took it away, and they brought it back this year. Normally, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you've only been able to change it during the annual election period, which is known as AEP. And AEP goes from October 15th through December 7th. It's the Medicare enrollment period, folks, where that's ever since Medicare Advantage and Part D plans came into the specter back in around 2005, 2006. That was the time period that was set where you could make changes to your plan. And it's changed a little bit here and there, but the way it works now is you can change from October 15th through December 7th if you have a Medicare Advantage plan. If you have a Part D plan, you can make changes during that time period. If you want to go from an Advantage plan to a Part D and a supplement, that's the time to do it. If you want to go from a supplement and a Part D plan to a Medicare Advantage plan, that also is the time to do it. But this year they brought OEP back into the spectrum. And basically OEP, and I've talked about it before if you've been listening to me for some time or where you listen every week. OEP essentially is something where it's not like AEP where it's a free-for-all. You can pretty much change openly, easily to anything that you like. OEP from January through the end of March, which they brought back into the forum this year. Basically, you can go from one Medicare Advantage plan to another, or you can go from a Medicare Advantage plan to a Part D plan with a Medigap or a Medicare supplement. It's not, and you can only do it one time. Once you've made the change, you can't change again. So now that it's over, well, it's not over. It'll be over Monday. Today's the 30th of March. The 1st of April will be Monday. So since it's over, I wanted to talk about what my expectations will be for the rest of the year and my thoughts on OEP. I thought that OEP was a refreshing change. I thought that every year, millions of people across the country make a change during the AEP, the annual election period, October 15th through December 7th. Anytime someone makes a change during AEP from October 15th through December 7th, the change that they make on their plan does not take effect until January 1st of the new year. And it's always been, well, ever since that OEP has been out of the equation until this year, that you're basically stuck on that plan. Whatever you changed to, you really couldn't change that plan until the next AEP, until the next October, until open season once again. So I thought it was a refreshing change because I encountered so many people that changed over to a plan. They were talked into it from a slippery salesperson agent that didn't tell them everything they needed to know, or they, saw on TV commercial or something. They changed over to a plan, found out it wasn't everything they thought it was going to be, and they ended up being stuck on it. And this year, that didn't always have to be the case. They had a time period where they can change back, or let's say they're on a Medicare Advantage plan and they've been on it for so many years. As many of you know, Medicare Advantage plans change their benefits every single year. And let's say their benefits just went down the toilet from last year to this, and they didn't do the due diligence of, checking into that during open season, or maybe their agent didn't inform them of that, which is an agent's job. And they didn't like the changes. OEP gave those people an opportunity to make a change, whereas in the past couple of years, they wouldn't have been able to do that. So I have a positive outlook on it. I think it was a good thing. We were able to help a lot of people that maybe a year ago we wouldn't have been able to help this time of the year. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for those people, and I feel good and optimistic about the impact that it's made. Now, going forward, starting Monday, you're stuck if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and a Part D plan. Keep in mind, if you have a Medigap or Medicare supplement, such as a Plan F, a Plan G, a Plan N, etc., any other type of Medicare supplement plan, you can still change that to another Medicare supplement with another insurance company all year round. I'm not trying to be confusing here, but if you have a Medigap or Medicare supplement policy, they're month to month. You can change them year round, but you have to be able to pass health questions and go through underwriting in most situations for the new insurance company to be able to accept you. There are a few carriers in the world of Medicare that don't require health questions under certain circumstances, but very, 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 very few. But Medigaps, if you have a Medigap or Medicare supplement, let's say they raised your rates through the roof or something like that, you can still change that if you're able to pass the health questions on the new company. But as far as your drug plan that goes with your Medicare supplement, or let's say you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, you are stuck on that plan until October. Okay? Now, there are some exceptions that you need to be aware of. That basically, if you qualify for one of these exceptions, you're able to change your plan outside of that window. But unless you have one of these exceptions, you're stuck until the end of the year. But I think us being able to change people's plans, or people being able to change their own plans 6 months out of the year, is a good thing instead of just the 2.5 months we've usually had. Stay with me into segment 2, and I will talk about what these exceptions will be, and if you may qualify for one of those, going into segment 2. Stay put, and I'll be right back. Hello, folks. Welcome back to segment 2 of this Saturday's edition of the Everything Medicare Podcast. Starting a few weeks back, we started doing 2 podcasts a week, Monday and Saturday, and it's been a great response, and so we're going to continue to do it into the foreseeable future. As always, if there's a topic that you would like me, Christian Brindle, to discuss on the Everything Medicare Podcast, or a question you have, you can always submit them to me directly on my email address, which is Christian, Christian, B as in boy, Christian B at xmission.com. Just the letter X and then the word mission.com, MISSION, Christian B at xmission.com. And that's where a lot of these topics come from. That's where a lot of these questions get answered from people like you submitting them. And let's continue talking about, now that OEP is over, starting Monday, I should say, April 1st. It's still going on today, and Sunday, I suppose. What would be the reason you can change your plan before October rolls around and the annual election period starts again, open season? Well, let's say you move out of state. Let's say you live, and I'm talking mainly about Medicare Advantage plans and Part D plans that go with, Part D for drugs, drug plans that go with Medicare supplement policies. Remember, like I said in segment 1, Medicare supplement policies, you can change them at any point in the year. They're month to month. You just have to be able to pass the health questions with the new insurance company in most scenarios. So excluding Medicare supplements, we are not talking about Medicare supplements with this. Just Part D plans and just Medicare Advantage plans. Okay, just wanted to make that clear. So with Medicare Advantage plans and Part D plans, if you move out of your state, Part D plans and Medicare Advantage plans are based off of the state that you live in. They're based off of the service area that you live in. A lot of states, you can move from one side of the state to another and you'll be out of the service area in a lot of instances because the service area might only work for one spot. I'll give you an example. If you've ever been to Utah where I live in Utah, you can have a Medicare Advantage plan in the Salt Lake area and then move to St. George, let's say, which is southern Utah, and it's a completely different service area, and St. George has their own plans, okay, and vice versa. So you'd have to change your plan when you move. So you might ask me, what would happen if I just moved and I just decided not to change? You'd be canceled on your current plan eventually. Might take a little while, a couple of months, but they would find out you've moved. They would cancel you. Okay? So it's important to just do it. Make the change. Find a plan that is, in the service area that you're moving to. Let's say you're moving from Utah to Idaho or Utah to New York or Utah to California or California to New York. Just make the change. Because if you don't, you're going to get canceled and then you'll be left with nothing until the open season. So you have a window on when you can do this. So just make sure it's done before you move. Okay? It's my advice. But yes, you're able to get out of your current plan and change to something else that's current for the state that you're moving to. That's a big deal and a big thing to know. Okay? So moving out of your state or your service area is number 1. Number 2, let's say you have Medicaid, or let's say you have what's known as extra help, low income subsidy. You can change one time every quarter of the year, so every 3 months. Okay, so let's say you're on Medicaid and you don't like your plan or you think there might be something better. You can get out of it. You're not bound to the open season rules. Okay, so there's another example for you. Let's see, what would another instance be? There's a lot of them. Let's say, this is an extreme one. Let's say you were incarcerated and you just got out of prison. There'd be a life-changing event for you. There's a couple of different reasons, but those are the most notable ones you're going to see outside of OEP, open election period, and AEP, annual election period. So, if you have a life-changing event like those, you can get out of your plan. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan and a Part D plan, remember, Medicaps are month to month. You can change those any time of the year if you can pass health questions with the new insurance company. And there's other exceptions as well. You could be coming off of a work insurance plan. Let's say you've been working since 65 and you didn't take Medicare right away and you're retiring and you're 68, 69 years old or something like that. You're able to get on Medicare at any time at that point and any Medicare plan because you were coming off of your credible work insurance if you just decided to retire. There's a lot of different reasons, folks, and if you think you might be qualified for one of these, look into it. Find out about it. You can even check with us, and we'd be happy to provide that information for you. Stay with me into segment 3, and we'll wrap this puppy up. Welcome back, folks, to segment 3 of the Everything Medicare Podcast. And like I said from the beginning, folks, I really, really appreciate you listening week after week. If this is your first time hearing us, thanks for getting all the way through, and I hope you learned something today. Folks, you don't have to be in this alone, okay? I'm not trying to turn this into kind of a sales pitch here, but if you'd like to work with me personally on your Medicare plan. You can. If maybe you're turning 65 or getting onto Medicare and you're just not sure what way you want to go, let's say you are already on Medicare and you're just not satisfied with what your current plan has to offer, or maybe you think that there's something better out there you'd like to check. I work with people if you live in Utah, Idaho, and Florida. Those are the 3 areas that I am licensed in and my company is licensed in at the moment. We're always adding new states and we'll be expanding into more states as time goes by, but those are the 3 areas that I can work with you in. And if you'd like to talk with me about your plan, no obligation, no cost of any kind, call my office, 801-255-5340, 801-255-5340, and we'd be happy to talk with you. If you're on the best thing you can possibly get at the moment, I'll tell you. We have no intention of changing something on somebody unless they really need it or they want it. Folks, check with us on social media, on your favorite social media, for constant day-to-day updates on what's going on in the world of Medicare, tips, things you can do better to utilize your program. Christian Brindle Insurance Services on Facebook, Christian Brindle Insurance Services on Twitter, C_E_Brindle, BRINDLE. That's my personal Twitter where I tweet out facts all the time that's important for you to know. Instagram, Christian Brindle Insurance. YouTube, Christian Brindle, for our educational YouTube videos. And if you're listening to this, folks, on a platform that allows you to leave reviews, please don't hesitate to leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out a lot, and it helps us reach more people just like you who need help. I was just talking to somebody today, and I was telling them that the information that someone needs to make a good decision on Medicare is vast. There's a lot of information that they need to know in order to know everything they need to know to make a good decision. Tons of information. And it's almost impossible to find on your own, and it's freaking ridiculous. It's tragic. What we try to do here is we're trying to change the narrative. We're trying to change the way that Medicare is done. We're trying to disrupt this industry. And the only way we can do that is by you. Help us, support us, leave us a review. It helps us reach more people. Share us on your social medias so your friends and family can be aware of what we're trying to do here. And also, they can make better decisions themselves. Folks, I really, really appreciate you listening. You are fantastic, and I will bring you another episode on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.